Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday, the 22nd of April. The year is 2021, I think. It's 12 o'clock, and because it's a Thursday, that can mean only one thing. My name is Lawrence Hobbs.
My name is Theo Denny.
And this is Why Can't I Do Music Good? A show where we talk about music, making music, why we... Oh, fuck it. Take two. And this is Why Can't I Do Music Good? A show where we talk about music, making music, why we're rubbish at making music, and what we're trying to do about it. Hi, Theo!
Hi, Lawrence. How you doing, buddy?
I'm okay, buddy. How are you, buddy?
I'm okay, buddy.
Buddy, old pal.
Yeah.
It's been so long
Been,
since I've seen you.
Yeah, man. Like, what's it been? 24, 26 hours?
Yes. It's been 20... It's been less than 24 hours, because we left each other around 4 o'clock yesterday.
Yeah.
But, for those of you who are out of the loop...
20 hours.
For those of you who are out of the loop, that can only mean one thing. That means that you don't follow either of us on Instagram.
And shame on you.
Shame on you. So, for those of you who do follow us on Instagram, you will know that Theo and I saw each other face to face for the first time in nearly a year yesterday. And it was
What a day.
good. It was good. We went out for a beer, like literally one beer. We went out for one beer, got some food, we went on a long sort of meandering drive. One of my favourite things to do at lockdown at the moment, because nothing is open, you can't go anywhere, is that you just drive and make arbitrary decisions about whether you're going left, right, or straight ahead at all the junctions, and you end up in some mental places.
Yeah, we got to a car boot sale, didn't we?
Yeah, it was just shutting
late.
down. Yeah, I would love to have actually been able to go around and check out some of the wares.
Where
And it
it
unfortunately,
would have been like a really old synthesizer. Some
can
guy
you
didn't know what
imagine?
he had.
Can
He
you
just gave it away for
imagine?
tenner,
It's
like a
got
Moog.
a Korg Triton.
Yeah.
He's like, I got this keyboard here. It's 50p, and I'm like, ho. Do you take card? No. Ah, fuck.
Yeah, apparently it's the first analog synth ever made. 50 quid, got a box somewhere.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I don't know anything about this techno wizardry. What's a washing machine?
I'm more of a rock and roll man.
Oh, but it was really good. It was really good.
Yeah, man.
And it's weird how the conversation is different when we're face to face, because I've realized also that you and I kind of feed off other people's energy. So I was talking to my girlfriend afterwards, talked to Meg afterwards, and she was like, "How was it?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was really, really good." We kept running out of things to talk about though, because I realized that when you and I talk about stuff, we're very efficient at the way we talk about stuff, because we know each other so well. We know already where the difficulties in the conversation are going to be, so we've already anticipated them and altered our language accordingly. Whereas when we're talking to other people, we'll say, "Oh, so I was doing this on my DAW. Oh, what's a DAW? Okay, well, a DAW is this," and then we'll go on this whole tangent, another conversation. And our conversations when other people are around are a lot longer, because we have to bounce. What I'm not saying is that other people are stupid, because I'm the stupid one in this scenario. I am the most stupid person in the room at any one time. No matter what room you put me in, I will be the stupidest person there. Yeah.
I got some rooms I can put you in.
Mate, I will adapt to be the stupidest person in the room. That's just my MO. It's just my MO. Either I have to be the funniest person in the room, or if there's clearly already a funny person in the room, I become the stupidest person in the room to make that person funnier, and we become a comedy duo. That's what happens.
Hobbs and blank.
Hobbs and whoever.
So many formats.
Hobbs and whoever is a great name for a comedy duo.
Yeah.
But so what happens is when we talk, we already know the bit that we're going to find difficult, and we pre-explain it. So, or we change the language, or we put it in a frame of reference that the other person we know is going to understand. Often, we default to like the scientific method, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
really, really useful. Like we were talking about religion yesterday, and and to put that into a scientific method frame of conversation is really interesting because belief becomes hypothesis and life becomes
yeah,
testing
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
the and a church becomes a group of scientists and stuff like that. Like it's really interesting. Like next time you have a conversation about something that is difficult and big and hard to understand, even if you know it really, really well, next time you have a conversation about that sort of thing, try framing it in something that you would consider the opposite of that thing. So
Mm,
if you know loads about circa media, if you know loads about circa media,
why not?
frame think of what the opposite of a circus is. I don't know, an office, and frame it in the context of an office, and see how much more relatable the conversation becomes and how much more accessible it becomes.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Well, I was going to say this because we were having a bit of a chat on your stream the other day about
yeah,
what we ended up talking about yesterday.
mm,
Um, and I think like when you're talking to someone about something like something that's sort of kind of seems important, you know, and especially something that is definitely important.
mm,
It's really important, I think, for people to um, decide that they've agreed on the definitions of things. So I think like what we were saying yesterday is that I think there's a difference in religious people's minds
mm-hmm,
generally of what belief means,
yeah,
uh, as opposed to somebody who isn't religious,
yeah,
uh, and that how in the chat we was kind of disagreeing with each other.
yeah.
We were actually saying pretty much the same thing.
Well,
It's just that belief, I think, had a different connotation in your head as somebody who has been raised, believing in something.
well, I think the issue also is when I'm on stream, I kind of go into TED Talk mode. Um, so when we talk about stuff like that, I feel like I have to give a seminar on like the sentence that I'm about to say. I feel like I have to explain in as many ways as I possibly can in the most introspective and self-important way possible. Um, and as a result, it means that the fact that it's a one-way conversation, the fact that
Mm.
I'm the one that's leading the conversation, I'm the driving force behind the conversation, means that we get into lots of choke points, um, because of the fact that I will go too far in one direction, when in fact all you wanted was for me to understand, or at least confirm that I understand a very small thing. Um, but I will assume that that's actually the crux, the whole point of the conversation that we're having. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, so my perspective is skewed because when we're face to face, your tonality and the way you say things, you can using your cadence, using your voice, can tell me what the subject of a conversation is going to be.
Mm.
So if I was going to say, I took my car on the motorway the other day, you can already tell that the subject of the conversation is going to be the motorway
Mm.
because I put the
Yeah.
emphasis on the motorway. If I said, "Look, I took my car onto the motorway the other day," you now know the emphasis is going to be on the
What
car.
happened to the car?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, and that's just a nuance that we don't get through text, and
Yeah, yeah.
this is why so many arguments are caused by texting people, and this is why
You
I
know
get
what?
so anxious when it comes to texting people.
Mm. You know what? What I'm just thinking would be amazing is if fonts were more sort of reflective of emphasis. So where like literally you could have like each letter has a like different size, and the way that you say it, like maybe in a text to speech, um, yeah, speech to text thing. If you're
Hmm.
saying it over chat, it would read your cadence, and then it would translate it into the different sizes, of letter, and
Have
then you on the other end could be like, and it'd be like reading sheet music. I can write
hmm.
down the notes that I want and the rests and the intervals, and then you can take it and go, oh, this is what that means.
Well, have you
That
ever
would be really
played?
cool.
Have you ever played the Mass Effect games?
Yeah, I played 3, I think. You had
Okay,
it.
cool.
I played it a lot.
So, do you remember that there's an alien there that speaks in monotone because they've been able to master language to the point, and they've been speaking in their language for so long and have mastered it so well that they don't have to emphasize words or intent as much as other races do. They can just
Right.
they can the emphasis and the tone is so minuscule. So when we talk normally, to them we sound like we're being melodramatic about stuff. So they adapted their language to account for species that that don't speak. They adapted their language because they realise that they're the only species that have this
Yeah.
quirk. Um, so before or after, oh no, before they say something,
Oh,
they tell you what the tone they're saying it is in.
yeah, I do remember. Yeah.
So they're like sarcastically, "I can't believe you did that."
Yeah. So yeah, you know what? It was ringing a very, very faint bell until you said before they say a thing. I was like, yes, they tell you exactly like their tone of voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And I think that we should just adopt that for text messages, or at least we almost started it. We almost do it with emojis, except that emojis I think are used more colloquially than they should be. They are
Mm.
used more as slang than actually expressions of emotion. Um, for example, you don't need to put three of an emoji after anything. One will do, but you find that everyone tends to put three. Um, and there are some emojis that I've developed a real hating relationship with. Hand over eyes monkey, I hate so much
Yeah.
because it essentially says, "Don't be mad at me, don't be
Yeah.
mad at me. I fucked up, but don't be mad at me." And I'm like, well, I can be mad at you just because you put that adorable little
Yeah.
emoji there. Like,
It's the equivalent. It's the equivalent. This pisses me off. It's the equivalent of someone being rude to you and then afterwards trying to shake your hand. And if you don't
yes,
shake their hand,
yes.
then you're suddenly the bad guy and they're absolved of, oh, I offered my hand. It's like, oh, what, you
Well, it
think you can be a
only
dickhead, offer me your hand, and then it's my problem?
it only happens in pubs.
Exactly.
It only happens in pubs. It's one of my pet peeves. I actually did an
And
entire podcast episode back when I had a podcast called the Bard for Life Pubcast, um, that was about etiquette in bars and restaurants. Um, it was one of my pet peeves was that either early on in your meeting with this person they will shake your hand, and that's just to that they know that's just to create rapport, and it's just they see that as a pre apology and
mm,
a pre forgiveness for whatever it is they're about to do. As soon as someone tries to offer to shake my hand, I'm like, well, one, we're in a pandemic, so no. And two, I'm now probably going to be less likely to serve in the future because you're going to get up to some shit.
yeah,
Um, and then they try and shake your hand afterwards. I'm like, no, 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 no. No, we're not shaking hands here. This is not a deal. This is
so
my
crap.
pub, and I can do what I can say what I want, and you're leaving. This is not a case of, hey, if you guys leave, will you go out the door? Like, if I ask you to leave, will you leave? It's not a deal. I'm telling you to leave. This is not a negotiation.
But
You are leaving.
it's not even a case of like kicking someone out or refusing them even. It's just like, so I had somebody like swearing at me because we had run out of something,
Was it milk?
and I was like, you know what, dude, don't talk to me like that. Stormed off, and and he came up to me, and I was doing something else. I was on the floor. And he's like, "Oh man, I wasn't swearing at you, mate." Held out his hand like that, and I'm like, "Well, firstly, I'm busy. Secondly, you were swearing at me." and
They get
and he
so
was like,
offended when I
"Oh
say I'm not shaking their hand. Yeah.
yeah." Well, I didn't even say I wasn't shaking his hand. I'm like, "Dude, it's fine. Forget about it." And he's like, "Oh, you don't want to shake my hand?" I'm like, "No, because I'm not going to make you feel better about yourself."
I
That
just,
doesn't.
I just tell them I'm not going to shake their hand. Like if they hold their hand out, I say I'm not shaking your hand, and they'll ask why, and I'll say because I don't like shaking people's hands,
You know what
and it's
though?
true.
Last time that happened to me, I didn't have the balls to say to someone, "I'm not shaking your hand." I didn't
Oh,
feel
don't get me.
like I could be that rude to someone.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I have backed down and shaken somebody's hand. I've done it. I probably will do it again because there are some
Mm,
people that you're like, the shaking their hand here is the smallest price to pay for them to just get the hell out of here. Um,
yeah,
Whereas sometimes it's a case of sometimes it's a case of principle, but sometimes there's battles you just don't need to fight.
yeah.
Um, oh, I remembered also something else that pissed me off this week. I I found out what TEDx Talks were all about.
Okay.
Um, so do you know how TED Talks used to be? I know the reason I mention this is because earlier I talked about how I sometimes feel like I'm leading my own personal TED Talk. But
Sure.
you notice how we don't see TED Talks anymore, or they're about, but nobody sends them out in a viral fashion like they used to.
Sure.
The reason why is because TEDx happened. TEDx is when somebody pays the TED company to do a talk. So I could pay TED and say, "Hey, I want to do a talk on why trees are slowly killing us with machine guns." And they'd be like, "Okay, if you pay us the money, you can have a TEDx talk." It's not a TED talk, but it is still with the TED brand.
Right. And so shit like that misinformation has been killing the.
Well, yeah, I mean, it meant that TED as a brand sort of didn't have any favor or had less sway. I don't know what the word I mean is.
Yeah, yeah. Less
Credibility.
validity.
Yes. Yeah,
Their
validity and credibility, and
yeah, their credibility was compromised.
yeah, because you suddenly had these Instagram models being like, "Ah, here's my diet plan. Here's why the stars are gonna. Here's why kombucha will kill your enemies." Um, like, don't get me wrong, to all the kombucha lovers out there, I think kombucha is delicious, but I know it's not going to cure cancer, so I'm okay with that. It tastes delicious, and I love fermented food. I love fermented food. I love kimchi, and kombucha is a fermented food, so I'm happy with that. Um, so yeah, and I found that out through the Your Favorite Band Sucks podcast, and they were
Mhm.
talking about how they were talking about basically how the music industry in general is going down the shitter, and
Mm.
the fact that the way it's going down the shitter is that people are that that distributors are basically selling off all of your music, but they first off they buy the lifetime rights off you for a stupid amount of money. A stupid amount of money. We're talking like the amount of money that you would make off your music in 20 years. They have the lifetime
Right.
rights to it, and then they go and do all these shady deals with your music that you wouldn't have done. And
Right.
they make more money off it than you ever would have. So,
Mm.
uh, can't remember who does it. I want to say the guy's name is, or the company's name is Scorpion or something like that. But it sounds like a bad guy. Anyway, but essentially,
Judge that book by its cover, Lawrence.
I judge all books by their cover.
You gotta.
I have to. What's the point in having a cover if we're not meant to judge books by it?
The book is the only thing by whose cover you can judge it. Like, don't judge a person by their skin color. That applies more.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a metaphor. That can be a metaphor.
Oh God. Oh,
Don't
also,
judge a man by his blackness.
Also, speaking of color.
Bad, though.
Speaking of color, so I have this pen. It is the best pen I've ever owned. It is a metal pen with metric and imperial measurements up the side, and a spirit level, and if you take the end off, it's got a little screwdriver, Phillips head, and flathead. It is an incredible pen, and it's solid as a very solid pen.
Solid as itself.
And everyone at work has, like, this is how much I like this pen. If someone asks me to borrow the pen, I will first ask whether they're planning on leaving the room. If they plan on leaving the room, they don't get the pen. If they could use the pen in the room with me there, then they can borrow the pen. And I've lost it several times, but I've always found it again. I thought I lost it again. So I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna buy another one. It's not going to be that expensive. It's a bit of a novelty. It's a cool novelty, but it's a bit of a novelty. And then I found on Amazon that you could get a whole load of these pens for not very much money. So I did. But they're cheap knockoffs. There's loads of them. There's so many of them. And they're all different colours. And they're beautiful. And these ones have a stylus on the end. And isn't that fantastic? Ooh. But they're really cheap plastic. And I can look at them and they'll break. So I was like, okay, right.
They've got the measurements on them?
Yeah.
Are they consistent?
I don't know. I assume so. But let's check it out.
Are they consistent with the actual one?
I haven't checked it against the actual one. I did eventually find it again, by the way, so I'm not that upset. But I also, after buying these ones, I was like, okay, so I've learnt my lesson. I'm gonna buy it. I am gonna buy a replacement for this pen. I'm just not gonna go for the cheapest one. I'll go for the most expensive version I can find. The most expensive version I could find was £15. £15 for a pen. I was like, okay, that sounds good. I buy it. It comes to me. It's another one of these fucking things. Fucking plastic bullshit. Identical. Thankfully, I did find the original pen, but I don't understand. Like,
you're getting your money back for that, right?
No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and sow the legend of the pen a bit more at work, and then when people are talking to me about how much they want one of these pens, I'm going to give them away as like Employee of the Month or Employee of the Period prizes. I'll be like, here you go, your very own one of my best pen in the world, and I won't tell them that it's actually shit because that moment will be what it's for. That's what I've decided. I'm going to use them as prizes, considering I've got like 9 of them now. I've forgot to ask you, how's your video coming on?
Good. You know, I've been back at work. I've been working a lot more than I was expecting to, basically. Having to pull some extra hours. Plus, I feel like I'm basically off of furlough now. So, effectively, full-time. I'm sorry, Churchill. Just kicked him in the head. And so, it's been on hold. But it's going well. I was talking to you yesterday about how I really need to learn to play with the metronome.
Yes.
Because I was throwing myself off because I was slowing down to keep in time, but then I was losing focus and my voice wavered, and then I got really annoyed about that, so I stopped playing properly. And so I think when we're done here, I'm just going to stick the camera on. I'm going to say screw you to the metronome, and if it fluctuates, then it fluctuates. But I just want to get it done.
Yeah.
Because it's a really good song. I'm so proud of that song, and I'm liking how the studio version is shaping up, and I need to get the acoustic version up before I can start posting the studio version. So that is what's going to happen, because that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, acoustic versions are, we were talking about yesterday as well, and how much you strip back versus how much you put in for a studio version. Before I carry on with that though, have you got all your internet consuming resources down for the count?
I can quit. You know what? I'll quit everything except for the lyrics.
Okay.
The song. Find the rest of that.
Like, it's not awful, it's consistent, but it's just blurry compared to what we normally have in the show.
Okay. I forgot to shut down Logic.
That'll be the boy. I reckon that'll be the boy.
Okay. Well,
let's hear it for the boy.
For baby.
Oh.
I think I told you in the stream the other day. Whenever I walk into the kitchen and there's a particular one of my staff on, I will just try and take a song that's meant to be sung really high and just sing it as low as I can. Walking around Christmas time and go, "We're walking in the air."
Is that the best example? As in, has that had the best reaction? What song has had the best reaction?
I don't know. Let's see. Heathcliff, it's me, it's Kathy. I think it depends, like how it depends partially on like how high the original song is.
Yeah.
So like, loving you is easy 'cause you're beautiful.
Do.
Oh.
Do you remember something? And this is something I've taken from uni, and I keep doing all the time. We enjoyed quoting lines from The Matrix in a Liverpudlian accent. They got any guns? Lots of guns. My favourite one by far is, do you hear that, Mr. Anderson? That is the sound of inevitability. That is the sound of your death. My name is Neo.
My name's Neo.
Oh, and for those of you at home,
what's he doing? He's beginning to believe.
I know Kung Fu.
Show me.
And here's a fun one for all of you kids at home. Saying badass movie lines in an Australian or New Zealand accent, and still seeing whether they are badass afterwards. If they still sound badass, then they are a badass line. Okay? If it go, hey, motherfucker. Or no, or
it might be your tone though.
It might be my tone.
I could hear it being like,
oh, if we do,
hey, motherfucker.
Oh yeah, if we do it like
Maybe.
Mad Max style.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I'm here to drink milk and kick ass.
And I'm all out of
I
ass.
just finished my milk.
Totally stealing a joke from Meatbag from last week. Should we talk about some news?
Let's talk about some news.
I wish we had a stinger for
talk about some news. Talk about some news. It's Theo and Lawrence talking about some news.
And me. Oh wait.
You were in it. You were in the song.
Yeah, I know. That's the joke. Okay. We'll start off with the saddest news. Composer and music producer Jim Steinman has unfortunately passed away. 73 years old, so he's had quite a career. Some of his major hits were "Bat Out of Hell" by Meatloaf. He also worked with Celine Dion, Barbra Streisand, Air Supply, Bonnie Tyler. He did "Total Eclipse of the Heart,"
Old schooler.
and "Holding Out for a Hero."
Oh,
Oh, what a
oh,
bagger of a tune!
that is it slaps. That one.
It does, as the kids say, slap. Um, actually, that I think that some people say that All Star by Smash Mouth is the most well placed song in any Shrek movie, but I would say the climax for Shrek 2 and
Yeah.
Holding Out for a Hero is
Yeah,
better.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
So, condolences to his family and the music world. Not only will
Sorry you're dead, dude.
you dick. Um,
I mean, I am.
I'm gonna end it there and make you look like a knob. Um,
I feel fine about it. What's he
let's
gonna do to me?
let's go right to the side.
Now I
So
feel bad.
let's let's flip to a much happier coin. Um, so Ezra Furman has come out as transgender and said not only that is she transgender, she is also a mother, which is
Congratulations.
completely, yeah, it's that totally left field. Like Ezra Furman, while being very outspoken about um their non-binary nature, and them being a sort of a poster child for alternative. I don't want to use the word alternative, but I'm going to have to. For LGBTQ plus groups, especially in the involvement of the soundtrack to the series Sex Education. Um,
Mhm. Yeah,
so,
I was over the moon. Like I've been told to watch Sex Education,
mm,
uh, and I was like, yeah, okay. But like first time I did, I was like, holy shit, this is Ezra Furman.
mm,
Like it is one of those. It's one of those things where you're like, it's something that you really like, but you have a feeling is pretty obscure.
yeah,
And then one day you're like, oh, this is in a thing that people are seeing. Yeah.
yeah, and also like. So I've been quite outspoken before that when I think I might have gone to see Ezra Furman on a bad day because I didn't really enjoy the gig, but
Right.
I enjoyed the music. I just didn't enjoy her. Um, but what I will say in a massive support of Ezra Furman is that I'm also outspokenly a not a fan of Billy Joel, because I feel that Billy Joel just wants to be every other musician apart from Billy Joel. Um,
Okay.
Whereas Ezra Furman does stuff in the style of other musicians, like her most recent song. I think what might be a most recent song, but "Take Off Your Sunglasses." "Take off your sunglasses" is very Bob Dylan, um, and it's well Bob Dylan slash Bruce Springsteen. It's just a great track. Um, but yeah, we didn't know that she was a mother, but has been for 2 years now, literally. Um,
Well, good for her. And we were talking yesterday. We got a little bit excited because one of my predictions, one of my musical predictions for this year, was that we would have an openly trans artist in the charts, and we were like, "Oh yes, 1 point for me. I'm gonna." Our bet is that we've each made 5 predictions
mm-hmm.
for the year in the world of music,
Yeah.
and each one of our predictions gets us a point. Whoever gets the most points at the end of the year writes the lyrics for a song that the loser has to sing, and they can be absolutely anything. And then that song has to be made, produced, published, and put on Spotify
Yeah.
and everywhere. Um, And one of my predictions was that there would be an openly trans artist in the charts, and we got really excited. I thought, yes, 1 point, because right now it's looking, it seems sort of, some of them are seeming more and more implausible, you know.
I think we're going to end this year with neither of us winning.
Possibly.
I have a feeling that neither of us are going to win. But if that's the case, we just do it again next year. It was fun to do. And I think...
Can we roll over predictions? Can I be like, okay, this year we're going to get sea shanties?
I think, yeah, if you want to make that one of your predictions, if you want to say, like, I don't think it was going to happen, I thought it was going to happen last year, but in fact I think it's going to happen this year instead. Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet.
I just wanted to read a statement from Ezra. It's also quite interesting that Ezra has decided to keep her name. I think Ezra works as a woman's name because it has the
as well.
Yeah, but also it has that A sound on the end of it, like traditional Roman and Greek lady names. So on Instagram, Ezra said, I wanted to share with everyone that I am a trans woman and also that I am a mom, and have been for a while, like 2 years. About being a trans woman, for my own reasons, I've been hesitant to use these words, especially the woman word. I've often described myself as non-binary, which maybe is still true. I'm going to sit with that question for the moment. But I've come to terms with the fact that I am a woman. I don't think you can say that I'm non-binary and also a woman, but I might be I'm not part of the LGBTQ plus community. I like to think of myself as an ally, but at the same time, I don't really know what I'm talking about in terms of that, so I might be wrong. But I've come to terms with the fact that I'm a woman, and yes, for me, it's complex, but it's complex to be any sort of woman. I'm very proud to be a trans woman, and to have come to know it and be able to say it. This has not been an easy journey. About being a mum, there's enough said in public about the magic of parenthood. It is beautiful and holy, and I love it. That's all on the subject. I've not yet mentioned in public that I'm a parent because I've been afraid of being judged and grilled about it, as if it's anyone's business other than mine and my family's. But I'm telling you, I'm a mum now for a specific reason. Because one problem with being trans is that we have so few visions of what it can look like to have an adult life, to grow up and be happy and not die young. When our baby was born, I had approximately 0 examples that I had seen of trans women raising children. So here's one for anyone who wants to see one. I'm a trans woman and a mum. This is possible. I've never dreamed it was possible to be happy and self-realised and trans and uncloseted, and also become a parent, but it is, and I'm doing it, because trans people deserve to pursue the lives we want on our terms. That's all for now. More music to come before long.
Nice one, Ezra.
Yeah. And so
also,
it's going to be interesting. It's already interesting how trans people are portrayed, not at least portrayed, but regarded in media. So one thing that I've only recently started to grapple with is the idea of TERF. Do you know what TERF stands for?
No.
It's TERF, and it stands for Trans Exclusive Radical Feminist. J.K. Rowling has been regarded as a TERF. So essentially, it's a feminist who believes that because a trans woman used to be a man, they're not a woman, and therefore shouldn't be regarded in the whole feminist conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a dangerous path to go down.
Well, it's sort of hypocritical to the whole, because the point of feminism is to seek equality.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the point of LGBT is that, and so like feminism was never about elevating women above men. It was about making the world see that women and men are on a level.
Yeah.
And as soon as we start going, oh, well, this is my movement for equality, but you're not allowed to be a part of it, then where is your movement of equality? Because you're just moving the discrimination around.
Yeah, it's essentially saying, hey, I'm a feminist. Hey, I am too. Yeah, but you weren't there from the beginning, were you?
Mm.
Like,
well, but I mean, it's It's not even that, because men are feminine. Like, feminism, right? Here's the thing. I think that the word feminism at least should be obsolete by now, because what feminism is the idea that men and women are equal. And back when the term feminism was coined to mean the empowerment of women, to elevate them to the point of, being seen the same as men,
Yeah.
that wasn't a popular opinion. And now it's the other way. It's not. It's like, so you and I think, are feminists because we believe that women and men are equal. And like, I think anybody who thinks that is by definition a feminist. But if the majority of people are feminists, then what we need is a word for the people who aren't feminists.
Well,
it's
yeah. I mean, but that, yeah, I can understand
sort of
that. I think
like
that,
the necessity for the word has shifted in the other direction.
well, I think that as long as there is the pejorative terms of masculine and feminine, there will be feminism as a term.
Well, yeah, but I mean, here's the thing: like, we don't have a term for the elevation of men to the height of women. We don't have masculism. We don't
we
have
have
that move.
masochism.
Sorry,
We have masochism.
is that what that is?
Masochistic people are people who, is it say no? I'm thinking of something else.
You're thinking of misogynist.
Yes,
Well, yeah,
misogyny.
no, but that's not what I'm saying. What, because that misogynist is a man, well, somebody elevating men above women.
Okay.
What I'm saying is we don't have a term for the the opinion that men are equal to women, and like that men's status should be elevated so that they're seen as equal to women. We don't have a term for that because men have never really been the underdogs. And so, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, we're at the point now where the people who don't believe that men and women are equal are a minority. And so it's sort of like saying,
Well, I still
I don't know,
don't
it's
think
hard.
that women are equal to men yet. I think that we're close. I think we're close, but we've still got a bit of a journey to go on.
But
Um,
I think it's more about like an individual thing.
well, I don't know. I think as long as, so at the moment we're starting to see the end of um gender roles and and gender identity being forced upon us, and certain from a very young age. When that goes, I think that will be all pretty much there. But for as long as we live in a world where I can't remember what the okay, so the highest paying lower class job at the moment, the highest paying manual job is electrician, and that is currently got a back in 1994 it had a, I can't remember what the percentage was. I think it was like a 60%, sorry, it was like a 40%. I don't know what the statistic is, but it had very few women being an electrician and loads of men, and that was the highest paying role. On the contrast, the lowest paid manual role was a beautician, which was almost exclusively women. So what has happened at the moment is that jobs where women tend to be in the majority tend to have a lower salary than jobs where men tend to be the majority. And that's what the pay gap is. The pay gap is
Yeah.
no longer a
Well,
case
what?
of
Yeah,
someone in the same position having being paid different weight rate. It's a
yeah.
case of the jobs
But
themselves have been gender assigned.
but here's the thing. Like, you can use the same numbers, the same statistics to say the complete opposite if you wanted to, if you were clever about it. Because the thing is that So, like, humans are bad at statistics. So if I say to you, the number of people, um, if the number of violent crimes went up from like 5% of all crimes to 10% of all crimes,
Mm-hmm.
then I could say violent crime has gone up 100%. Or I could say violent crime is at 200%. Or I could say violent crime has gone up by 5%. And they're all true,
Yeah.
but it's about like how you present the data. Like, that's a really simplistic example, but when you've got so much of that going on, the debate is, will the pay gap exist? When you average out a woman's pay and a man's pay, then women get paid less, so the pay gap exists. But then you can go, well, you can account for the proportion of women in this and that, and so that's where the pay gap comes from. But then, well, the pay gap's still there, so women should be being, so like it's really tricky when you're, sorry buddy, keep kicking the rabbit. When you're dealing with statistics, it's like I consciously make myself remember when somebody else is saying statistics at me, and when I'm saying them at somebody else, I'm always trying to remember that this can very easily be twisted around.
Yeah.
Because like we can't understand it. Oh, Mr. Jolie 123, thank you for following.
Thank you
How
very
you
much,
doing,
Mr.
man?
Jolie. How are you? How art thou?
I hope you're still here. I'm sorry, we.
It was only a second ago. I was gonna wait for a gap in what you were saying
Oh, okay.
before I addressed it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, statistics are weird because
Mm.
they are the closest thing we will get to a bridge between objective and subjective data.
But we don't have it. We're not programmed for it.
No, no,
Really weird. Really strange.
no. By the way, Mr. Jolly123, if you'd like to weigh in on anything that we're saying at the moment, please feel free.
Yeah, this isn't normally this isn't a usual topic.
No. I mean, we were talking about Ezra Furman and and her coming out as transgender, which is excellent news. Let's. I don't think I want to talk about Morrissey.
Yeah, let's not. Good.
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 So
What brought you in, my friend?
let's talk about Juice World. I think this is an interesting topic here.
Okay.
So let me just read the article real quick. I don't mean read the article as in quickly get my facts straight. I mean let's read out the article. Oh no, there's something else we haven't covered, but we'll cover that in a minute.
You're doing all right, man. It's a lovely sunny Thursday in beautiful Bristol, in
Barizal.
in England. How where do you hail from?
I think I know where he hails from.
Oh, do you? Do you think you know who this is?
I think I know who this is, but I will wait to make sure that I'm correct. Um, in Cheshire.
Oh, it's Mr. Jolie. I know who this is.
Hey, dude.
We reprobate.
How dare you?
How you doing, young man?
So, always reprobate. uh, okay, so let's very quickly. Benny Blanco discusses the posthumous Juice World music, saying, "I want it to be the way they would want to hear it." So, Benny Blanco has spoken to Enemy about the process of releasing music with Juice WRLD and Six Dogs after the two artists passed away. The producer released his new album, Friends Keep Secrets 2, last month, a reimagining of his debut 2018 album, Friends Keep Secrets, and the new version of the two late artists. I've been getting into emo rap recently, and it's interesting. Okay. And I don't know if anyone who's watching has got into emo rap. Theo, I don't know if you've screwed around with it at all. but it's very interesting as a genre, especially if you were into emo when emo was at its height, because it's the same sort of lyrical content and cadence as emo music was, but with like rap and trap beats behind it.
Mm.
And it's still in its infancy. So you back when emo started, it was very simplistic. It wasn't very clever. But as the genre
I'm
grew and became
sad.
saturated,
You made me sad, and now I'm sad.
yeah, you had like you had the very stereotypical I can't remember what the band was. My wrist and black my eyes. That one. Um, and you had the U's doing very simplistic stuff. And that's where we're at with sort of emo rap at the moment. I'm really excited to see where emo rap is going to go. But the issue we've got at the moment is that there's a heck of a lot of young death in emo rap. So you got Lil Peep, Juice World, Six Dog, and not to mention a whole load of others. Um, so there's a lot of people who have had to come together and get these artists' music, and and essentially release it on their behalf. Now I can understand why you might do that if they were working on an album at the time, but when is the line crossed where you're just digging into their back catalogue and releasing stuff that they didn't necessarily want to have released, or how do you know what is touchable and what isn't? Like we have people we haven't well we had one Elvis song get released after Elvis's death. Well, we had an album, and then we had in 2004 we had Little Less Conversation, which was a banger of a tune, by the way. Um,
Did that only come out in 2004?
I feel like it did.
Are you serious?
Was it? I think it was remixed by
Googling.
Junkie XL. Well, I think it was produced by Junkie XL. I think that came out early 2000s.
Is that so? Recorded 7th of March 68, released 1970.
Okay, so he released a remix of it then.
Okay.
My bad. But is there? I mean, if you were in this position, like you and I both have a load of music that hasn't been released. I'm currently working on a record. Are you working on a record at the moment, or are you still
I
cranking out
am.
songs?
I'm passively working on an EP.
Okay.
And on that note, I have a song that I started writing this morning, which I think might suit.
Okay, so let's say hypothetically that you and I drop dead. How much of your back catalogue, how much of your work would you be happy with people releasing, and how do people communicate that? Like,
Yeah, dude, so little of it. Uh, like, there's a lot. There are a fair few things that are very nearly finished. There is a lot of stuff that is halfway through. There is an awful lot of stuff that is just like literally 8 16-bar sketches. And so, like, I don't know, man. I think when it comes down to posthumously releasing work, I would hope that the person who was closest to that artist and their music, or the people, maybe their best friend in the musical world and their best friend and their wife would all sort of go, yeah, he would want this released. He wouldn't want this released.
mm,
But it's hard, man, because I don't even know what stuff I would have happy.
sorry, you
I,
say that
I'd have to
again.
go through it. Well, I mean, I said that I don't know what I'm happy to have released after I die. I'd have to go through it and then like have to rely, unless I've written it down and said these are the ones that you can release, and then updated it every time
because
I
nobody
wrote.
expects themselves to die in the middle of their career. Like, so
Yeah.
is that gonna start like? And so why? I mean, I don't even this. This isn't even a question that's even come up in the music industry. I've never heard of anyone saying they released this song, but I'm not sure they should have. Um, like but it's almost become it's almost become like the done thing to, as soon as an artist dies, just make sure that
Yeah.
everything is out there and marketable and making
Yeah.
money for the estate. So is it a cash grab on the behalf of the estate of the deceased? That's the
At
question I'll
least
ask.
some of the time, definitely. And I, I feel like you would hope that you get to the point where you retire and you can curate your own posthumous songs.
Yeah.
So you can make your own compilation of you didn't quite finish, or you love a long record, or B-sides and stuff like that, and then say, this is the stuff that I want you to this is I want that I'm happy to be released.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It would just, oh man, yeah, I'm now thinking that I might just have to create a folder called stuff that I'm happy to be released if I die. So
I'm sorry,
just to
man.
leave it on my
I'm
back and be like, right, well,
sorry.
that's a
Oh,
posthumous release right there.
oh, dude, what have I done? I mean, I think this is a
That's
question that'll start
posthumous worthy.
being. I think this is a question that'll start being asked, in the near future. Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
Wow, guys,
absolutely.
what a bombshell.
Haven't seen you in a while. You've changed.
just yeah,
A bastard now.
maybe maybe you're right though. Maybe you're right, because from a legal point of view, there is no precedent that's been set. Nobody has questioned it. Nobody has said, I don't want my music to be released, because you can't. So, and nobody has said, like, none of the
We consulted
families.
him for Ouija board last night. He said, I do not consent. He misspelt consent, but he was always a bad speller.
So I guess we're just gonna have to wait for that to start coming up as a conversation.
Mm.
Because I don't think I don't know. I know that I think that you and I would be kind of different. I think that I would like everything that I've ever worked on to be put out there. But I don't.
You would.
Yeah, yeah. Even if it's badly representing me, because I think that I would trust my managers and my producers and my distributors and the people who, like, if I drop dead tomorrow, I'm not going to have any of that. My music is never going out there. I would at the very least like someone to release the album that I'm currently working on. And now we have that documented right now. So if I do
I
die
got you.
tomorrow, please make sure the album gets out. But I think I'd be okay with people hearing everything, because I there's Joel's got me as well. Yes.
Let's coordinate those so we don't end up posting the same album twice. Like, damage your reputation and be like,
he's
Frank Turner soul shit.
he's released arcade treatments for Modern Traumas, and then he's got arcade treatments for Modern Traumas too. Why didn't he just put it all in one album?
Well, no, it's arcade treatments for modern traumas, open bracket 1, close bracket.
Oh no, but yeah, because that's how it saves. Yep. Um, sorry, it took me a while. I'm
It's
not
okay.
on the ball today. Okay, so final piece of news before we go to a break. So we've got more artists that are signing the open letter to big old Bojo to fix the streaming economy. I think this is worth us reiterating what this is all about. So, for the
Yep.
layman, Theo, do you mind giving a quick overview as to what this whole controversy is about?
Oh boy, I wasn't expecting to have to explain
That's
it.
okay. That's part of the reason, because if I've explained it to you correctly, then this is a good way of me knowing whether or not I've done that.
This is this is the touring festivals thing.
This is the streaming revenue thing.
Okay, you might just have to take it. To be honest with you, man.
Okay. So so there's been an inquiry recently as to whether or not the way that artists and performers and songwriters, how they get paid for streams of their song, whether that's a fair model. Um, so and it started last year. And the reason why is because at the moment they feel like not enough of the money that they're owed is coming to them, and it's been spread around too much. Um,
Mm.
so there's been a few. Well, there's been currently exactly one solution to this problem that's been proposed. It's been proposed by SoundCloud, and what SoundCloud have decided is that when you listen to an artist on SoundCloud, it will, when the amount of money that you generate for that artist, your portion of it gets paid to that artist. So if I only, let's say I listen to nothing but Coldplay, um, Bob Marley, and Coheed and Cambria on SoundCloud.
You can do worse.
I could do worse, mate. Um, if I only listen to those three artists, then my money, the money that my listens have the revenue that's been generated through my listens is only going to those three artists. Whereas at the moment, the listens that you generate generally generates revenue that goes into a big old pot and then is divided however the distributor feels.
Mm.
Um, so a load of new artists have also jumped on with this idea, including Paul McCartney, Kate
Kate
Bush,
Bush.
Stevie Nicks, yep, um, Damon Albarn, Chris Martin, Noel Gallagher, every member of Wolf Alice, all four of them. Um, and they say they've written a new letter on behalf of today's generation of artists, musicians and songwriters in the UK, and call for the government to adapt the law in order to put the value of music back where it belongs, i.e., in the hands of the music makers. Now, there's a whole separate issue here that we've discussed over previous weeks about how much of that the songwriter gets. So to reiterate that for people who don't know about that, because I think it's incredibly important as songwriters,
Mm.
there is a movement called the Pact, which does a lot of work with this. But essentially, at the moment, songwriters get a tiny, 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 tiny amount of the revenue for a hit song, to the point where songwriters who are currently writing songs that are in the top 10 in the UK or top 10 worldwide, sorry, aren't able to pay their rent on the revenue that they get for these songs, which is crazy. It's also the term that's been used in the music industry to explain why this is getting worse is almost a joke term, but it's become a real term of change a word, get a third, which is basically means if you as an executive change a word in the lyrics of a song, you are now a songwriter and you get a third of the revenue of already that tiny amount of revenue that was going to songwriter. You get a little bit more. Like, it's very unfair. So there's a battle being fought on two fronts, and this is the first stage of this two-pronged attack. I don't even want to say attack; it's a defense, because their likelihood, their livelihoods are the ones that are being attacked at the moment.
Yeah.
First off, we've got to make sure that artists in general are getting paid properly, and then we also need to make sure that the songwriters who are responsible for the hits that those artists are producing are also getting paid properly. Yeah. Oh, it's not even okay. So the letter adds that the law has not kept up with the pace of technological change, and as a result, performers and songwriters do not enjoy the same protections as they do on radio. It goes on to suggest that only two words need to be changed in 1988 Copyright Designs and Patents Act, so that today's performers receive a share of revenues just like they enjoy in radio. But the proposed change won't cost the
You know
taxpayer a
what?
penny, but will put more money in the pockets of UK taxmakers and raise revenues for public services like NHS. I'm a bit annoyed that this is only a UK thing at the moment, but it's a step.
Well, I was saying something like this yesterday. I was saying that we need then for a group of people to look at stuff
Sorry,
and say,
say that
okay,
again.
what no longer makes. I was saying this yesterday. Am I all right?
You're better. Yep.
Okay. I was saying this yesterday, like how we need to have like a group of people who every now and then, every couple of decades, sit down and go, right, what no longer makes sense in today's world? And, to look at stuff like how the music industry's changed and how the laws haven't been adapted to keep up with it and to make sure everything's fair. Just stuff that you don't notice. It's like head and your vacuum under there, you know.
Sorry, say that again. You broke up again.
So it's like how every spring you like lift up the sofa and you vacuum under the sofa, get all the dust out from under there. It's like you don't need to. It's not a job. There's that crap builds up eventually. It's like so look at how things are now, and look at how it doesn't. Hey, Jason Janik,
Hey, dude.
welcome, sir.
How you doing?
I would say so. Looking at how things are now, looking at how it doesn't quite match up with how things should be if we're in now, and just saying, right, we propose changing this so that artists get paid more fairly, or you know, abolishing this law that is sort of discriminatory, but that's been around for a long time and nobody's bothered to challenge yet.
Jason may have something to weigh in on this particular thing. I'm sure that Jason, you are aware of the plight of songwriters at the moment and how they're being cheated out of revenue. I don't think I necessarily agree that what you're suggesting, Theo, is as easy as you're
Oh no,
suggesting
it's not. Wouldn't be easy
because it's
but
not a case of because all the laws that don't make sense will have other like caveats attached to them. Because they like laws have been going for so long that they will all be based around something and have various loopholes.
Yeah, but that's why you'd have a team committed to working it out so that it's still fair and people are still bound by it, and that there aren't any weird, mysterious loopholes. And yeah, like it would be a hard job. It might be something that it would take a group of people like 5 years to sit down and go through, the laws and their wider implications and the laws that those laws came from, and just sort of iron everything out. But I think it would mean that sort of every now and then we get this fresh air blow through, where because I really think that if stuff like that had been considered, we didn't realize how big music was going to be before recording music became a thing. And so we didn't bother to plan ahead for how artists were going to be paid.
Jason's just saying he's just catching the end of the comment, so he's catching up. So I'll get up to speed. Jason, you may well be aware of the fact that at the moment there's a big old call for change in songwriting and recording and how songwriters are paid, because currently they're being paid a tiny amount, and that slice gets smaller when you take into account the fact that executives and producers and managers have the whole change a word get a third rule. So I think every week this has come up. So I think it's a very important conversation to have. Because being songwriters, we're all songwriters here. We're all songwriters. Now, we do also have the advantage of being artists on top of that. So naturally, we will, if we get the same sort of prestige and make a wave in the same way that a lot of other artists have, we will get more of a revenue anyway. But let's say we write a song for somebody else. Let's say we do what Ed Sheeran's doing, and we write a song for Rihanna, which we will get to. We're going to come back to that later. With that in mind, Ed Sheeran may have the pulling power, may have the I can't think of the word. The something leverage. There you go. Thank you. May have the leverage to be able to work himself out a better contract, but a lot of other songwriters can't pay rent. Like top hit makers cannot pay rent at the moment. I think it's just disgusting. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like we're gonna continue bringing it up because it is just it's an important conversation. We just need to keep having it. Seeing as we've got quite a few people in watching at the moment, would you like to forego a break and get straight on to songs we can't get enough of?
Yeah. When are we shitting on this song?
After these two, after our good songs. Okay, so do you want to introduce the bit?
Segment. Right, this is so Lawrence and I every week we're listening to music, we're let me say it again. Lawrence and I listen to music every week, and every week we come to the show with a song that we can't get enough for whatever reason. Maybe we like the production, maybe we like the songwriting, maybe it's funny, maybe for something about it. And every week these songs get put into a playlist which you can find on Spotify. It's called Why Can't I Do Music Good? Songs We Can't Get Enough Of. And so we just have a little bit of a talk about what our songs are and why we love them so much. Lawrence, do you want to go?
Sure. I've got so much to say about this song. Okay, so the song I have chosen this week, let me just get my notes up. The song that I've chosen this week is Song for Clay, parentheses, Disappear Here. Yeah. By Bloc Party. Now, I know we tend to favour the lesser known acts on this show, but I keep coming back to Bloc Party as an artist because I think that they're just so good as an indie band.
Need to listen to Bloc Party.
They are so, especially the first two albums. First two albums are probably my favourite.
What's the guy's name? Is it Kelly or Keely?
Kayleigh.
He's got a good voice.
He's got an excellent voice, and it's very English as well. Very English. So, Song for Clay is based on. The story of this song is based on the Bret Easton Ellis novel Less Than Zero, and it's your typical Bret Easton Ellis disillusionment with the middle classes and with grandeur and stuff like that. But the reason I keep coming back to Bloc Party is because they've always interested me, because like their first two albums, the first one is called Silent Alarm, and then this is from the second one called Weekend in the City. They were released at a time when homosexuality was like, it's still relatively vilified in the UK. So Kayleigh's lyrics, they often talk about love and relationships in a weird, like, often like he's often quite neutral when assigning gender to people he's writing love songs about, because of the fact that even though he himself was very openly gay, the songs themselves had to be less divisive in order to get radio play. So it's really interesting to listen to these romantic songs and have them be just about anybody. Like they you can write a song about loving someone, but to be able to make it so specific and so general at the same time is a real art. I think it's just an excellent songwriter. Um, so they're also one of the bands that I was first aware of releasing a remix album. Now,
Right.
and it blew my mind when I first heard it. So what they would do is they would release an album, and then maybe a year later they would release the same album, but with each of the songs in order having been remixed by a big producer.
Mm.
Um, and it just blew my mind because some of these remixes are just off the chain. They're so good.
Yeah.
And I still haven't like actually seen it much in recent years. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people like regarded it to be Bloc Party's kind of USP.
Mm.
I.e., they're like because of this they're like being recognised as both a major name in both the indie rock and the EDM circles.
Mm-hmm.
Why I like this song in particular, there's three highlights of this song.
ADS. We're talking about Block Party.
Talking about Bloc Party's song for Play.
DS in the house.
DS in the house, everybody. We got Jason Janik, we got DS, we got Mr. Jolie.
Mr. Jolie.
What a party we got here!
What a party!
Hey.
What a group of guys.
So some of the highlights of Song for Clay is first off that frantic, chaotic guitar in the chorus, where it's like we're in a world, blah 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 blah, but it just works so well. Like,
yeah, man. And the drums as well, like super simple.
Yes, yeah. It's just it's such a well put together song. And it's very subtle as well. It's in the background of the chorus. You got haven't heard much Bloc Party in a while. This is their second album, so like this is back in the day, Bloc Party, when they were releasing like Hunting for Witches and like
the pre-chorus sort of slips into 7.
Does it?
And it goes back into 8. Yeah.
I did not notice that.
It's interesting.
What was what?
I think it's the pre-chorus.
That explains why there feels like there's a beat missing when it goes into the chorus. Feels like it speeds up slightly, and that would be why. Because you're used to the 7, and it goes, and then you miss that, and it speeds up. Yeah, that works.
I think it's like it's 4 bars of 7. I think, or maybe 3 bars of 7, and then the last one of 8 before it goes into the chorus.
Well, my second highlight of this track is just the lyric, "'Cause East London is a vampire, it sucks the joy right out of me."
Yeah.
Just that, and the third highlight is immediately after that male choir just going, "Oh!" It's just so epic for just 4 or 5 seconds, and it just works so well for the song. I keep forgetting how good every song on this album is, and there are songs that are better and I come back to more. Like for example, "The Prayer" I cover when I do live music, but this song, as the first song on the album,
"Lord, give me grace."
That's the one.
And dancing feet.
That's the one.
Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, and what a way to begin an album with this song as well. Just very calm. I am trying to be heroic, and then it just goes frantic and crazy, and it's just so good. I love this song so much. Love it.
Really nice interest, like the intro to verse, basically. Very like it's just very sedate up until it's not anymore.
Yeah, and I think now that I know that it's because it's part of a Bret Easton Ellis novel, I can understand why they chose to do that. It just works so well. Yeah,
And so that's on the playlist now.
that is on the playlist right now. If you go to, hold on, let me just double check this on playlist, make sure I actually added it. I'm going to add it again. You might just see it twice. But if you, okay, it's on the playlist. Yeah, if you go to Spotify and you search for "Why Can't I Do Music Good?" songs we can't get enough of, and the playlist is there, and you can listen to that right now.
We didn't talk about the. We'll talk about the artwork afterwards.
Oh
Or do you want to talk
yeah.
about the artwork now? Let's do the
Well, yeah.
artwork now.
Let's talk about the artwork. So we've also now started getting some branding through through a friend of the show, also my girlfriend of the show, Meg Skuse, who she's made us a thumbnail. Your girlfriend-in-law. She's made us a thumbnail. She's made us. I'm gonna bring the artwork up. She's made these really cute, like little versions of me and you, and that's the artwork that's on the playlist. It's also the artwork that I'm using for the YouTube shows. You probably can't see it very well there, but there's cute little us. Oh, look at us!
Love it.
Look at
so
us!
good.
And I love how I've got my little my girlfriend at the show. Do we have a new one each show?
Girlfriend of the show. Rachel Riley's on next week, giving out all the consonants and vowels.
But I just love the fact that I got a little dunce cap and I got stars in my eyes. I'm just like, I just want to make music, but I'm stupid at it.
And then I'm like, Lawrence.
It's such great artwork. She's really good at everything she does. She also did the album cover for my EP with the Foxy Lady on it. Okay. Oh yeah. Right. Do you want to talk about your track?
Yeah. Okay. So my track it's called Rattlesnake, and it's by a band called Kabaret Sybarit.
Yeah, I had trouble spelling this one several
Yeah.
times. Every time I tried to spell it, I couldn't.
I don't know, man.
Now that you've said it out loud, though, I can understand. Like, because one of the things that I came into this song with was I couldn't really work out what it was going to be like. I thought it was going to be really math rocky. But now you said their name out loud and you say the word cabaret. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, of course it's going to be like swing,
Cabaret.
polka. Yeah.
Some sort of
Gypsy.
small headwear.
Yeah. Not gypsy, bohemian. Bohemian style. Bavaria, that's the one I mean. Bavarian style music.
The way that they describe it is dark cabaret.
Okay.
So it's really cool. So firstly, like one of the things that I love, and I'm not sure why, I love when a song has girl power.
Okay.
So like I love it when in a song where there's like a sort of a dominant woman. And pretty much any song where the woman at some point says boy, oh, sets shivers.
You just love being told
like,
that you're a boy.
Murder on the Dance Floor. Murder on the Dance Floor is a song about a woman in charge. It's like, you do what I say or you're going to be sorry. Boy, just come along. And then but it's also stuff like, so Nina Simone's got a song called Be My Husband, which is a product of its time, where it's like, well, you know, if you be my husband, I'll be your wife. I'll cook and sew if you want me to, because I've got nowhere else to go outside of you. Please stop treating me so mean. You're the meanest man I've ever seen. And Jeff Buckley did a cover of it, which is Be Your Husband. And it's exactly the same, except for a couple of words being changed around. But it's got so much, I'll be your husband if you be my wife. If you want me to, I'll cook and sew. You're the meanest woman I've ever seen. Stop treating me so badly. And the fact that there's a man who is being mistreated by a woman who's looking down on him, I like it. I think it's a fresh perspective in a song. And so this song is basically, it's a woman, I'll tell you. So Rattlesnake tells the story of Madame Marseille, the poodle's mistress, which, like, I don't know what that means. So I'm going to have to listen to the whole EP.
I think there's a concept album type thing going here, because I know that the next track is called Poodles.
Yeah. So the poodle's mistress shooting her husband and making a puppet out of his body.
That's what this is about. Okay, I had a tough time trying to figure out what this song was about. Oh, thank God.
Okay, well,
it makes a lot more
really
sense now.
So look, it's like crazy woman. So the first verse, ha ha ha, I kid you not. I think I just heard my Luger saying, shoot me, fire me through his wrinkly face. Well, it's not that I don't want to, but first I want to hear you yelling, kill me, kill me, kill me, ha ha ha. And it's like and then in the second verse, it's like, oh, what have we here? A shitload full of no fucking money. Oh my darling, that's not nearly good enough. And it's like she's like some sort of mafia boss, and you fucked up, but she doesn't have to shout at you. She doesn't have to like break kneecaps like a man feels like he has to do. You're sat in a chair and you're not going anywhere, and she is very disappointed with you. and so it's like, and so it wasn't until I sort of googled brought the lyrics up on Genius, and I read about the story of Madame Marseille. But I thought, okay, there's something deeper here than just like a crazy woman killing a dude. And so I tried to find their Wikipedia. That they don't seem to be about very much.
No, so I had a look at their Spotify. They've got less. They have less Spotify followers than friend of the show DJ Walker has.
Which one's DJ Walker?
Jack. The one we're trying to get onto the show, but we can't figure out how to get a three-way call going.
That obscure, are they?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, so I've got their Bandcamp up on here.
Okay.
And they say, so firstly, willkommen, bienvenue, welcome. Kabaret Sybarit is the only Danish dark cabaret act telling their strange story through a unique and catchy combination of pop, rock, jazz, a heavy dose of circus.
Nice.
And yeah, really cool. And so, like, this is Madame Marseille, and she's killing Marcel, and turning him into a puppet. And it's like the last verse is so and so all night. With all these goddamn wrinkles, I can stretch him just like a skin-colored rubber band. Gotta say it makes it easy. Gotta say I make it easy. I think I start to like him better. Rubber, my rubber man. And oh yeah, there's a couple of verses after that. But yeah, just like, it's just so twisted, man. I love it.
I have a newfound appreciation for that song now that I know what it's about, because that was the thing I was having a real issue with, because it sounds like it's very metaphorical language, but as soon as you go, actually no, it's not metaphorical, it is literal. That makes so much more sense. Yeah, it is. But it's a fun song. It's a good song. I love her delivery in it. It's good choice, man. Good choice.
Thank you. So yeah, that song as well is on the.
That song is on the playlist right now. Yeah.
It's.
Sorry, say that again. Ooh, we've lost you. Ooh. Okay, try that again. Try again.
Okay. I like the fact that it's quite a small band, because they just popped up in my feed one day.
Yeah.
And I feel like recommending a song that everybody already knows, I don't feel like it really does anything. But like, maybe because we got maybe up to 3 people in this chat right now.
Oh, it's a record.
And
mate.
if one of them listens to the song, that's pretty cool.
Okay,
but yeah,
so
shall we?
Yeah, so going from songs that we can't get enough of to songs that didn't get enough love. Now, pre-warning right now, if you are the sort of person that doesn't like to hear a lot of swearing, or maybe you have members of my family in the room, you might want to put on headphones. Because It's about
We're
to
gonna
get
tear this
ragey.
mother ucker down.
It's about to get ragey. So, um, do you want to intro what song we're talking about?
Okay. I mean, okay. So the song is a long-awaited collaboration.
We've lost you. Okay, in lieu of the fact that you.
Listen.
Oh God. Oh, you went all over the place for a second, and I have lost you. Oh no. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hang up the call and do the call again. Sorry, guys.
Cool.
Be right back with you, Thea. Sometimes this does happen. The internet on Thea's end can be sketchy. Sometimes. I apologise. I apologise to everyone watching. Let's get him back. Let's do it live! Ugh. Now you should be able to... Okay.
How am I doing? How am I doing?
You're looking good, I think. Hold on. Not anymore, you're not. Okay, that's...
Oh.
Okay. I think we're all right.
Okay.
Okay.
The song.
The song.
The song.
Yeah.
All over which we shall be shitting today is a long-awaited collaboration between and Sia and Labyrinth. It's Titans, and it's from the album Music is the Weapon Reloaded.
Yeah.
And oh my God, Lawrence.
I've got so much to say.
You know, I had to listen to it like 3 times just to try to find something. Like, there's nothing wrong with the production, I guess.
No. But this is one of those happy days when there is nothing wrong with the production, except for the fact that it exists.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the production. There's something wrong with it as an entire thing.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing wrong with your face, but you're a shitty person. You're beautiful.
Oh, okay. So I've kind of got a narrative here of all the notes I want to make, and they follow a train of thought. So I'm going to try my best to do this narrative, and then after each bit, sort of leave an area for you to like jump in on it. Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna start off very lightly. Okay. I'm gonna start off very lightly. We're gonna get real offensive later on. First off, I am bored of the Latin rhythm in songs now. Okay, and I don't know how producers have done it, but they have managed to make me bored of the Latin rhythm faster than I got bored of dubstep being in every song. Like, dubstep being in every song lasted for 5 years. The Latin rhythm has lasted for 2, maybe 3, and I'm bored of it now.
The thing is that there are loads of Latin rhythms.
And it's always this one they use.
It's one that they're using. Basically the most basic one as well.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same sample.
It probably is in a lot of cases. Probably is.
So yeah,
certainly a lot of producers have got that button saved. So they just drag it onto whatever.
So first off, I'm bored of Latin rhythm. Okay. Secondly, please, this is a plea to songwriters out there. Can we please? I'm reading from my notes because I need to make sure I say this correctly. Please, can we stop writing songs for Rihanna and then getting someone cheaper to do a bad Rihanna impression? Please, can we stop doing that?
Oh,
I am so fed up with it. Like, Sia is from Australia. Why is she doing a bad Jamaican accent?
I drop it like it's hot to this party.
That was so good. Like, oh, okay.
We are the Titans, yeah.
That's my issue with the production. That's the only issue I can find with the production.
Down under.
So, and you could do it because you are part Jamaican, so this is all right for you to do. Oh, God. So okay, so the next part, okay. So the song's called Titans, okay, because it's referencing Clash of the Titans, the movie, and epic story Clash of the Titans, and they directly
not the actual Titans themselves of mythology.
Yes. Yes, Clash of Titans, as in no, you're thinking of Remember the Titans, the football team. That's what you're thinking.
I'm thinking of Titans as they exist in folklore.
Yes. Greek mythology.
The film Attack of the Titans is based on.
Yes. Yeah. The Greek mythology. Okay. Yes.
I thought you said that they wrote it about the film.
No. As in a la Clash of the Titans.
I see.
I see. So the fact they directly compare themselves to Titans by saying they're partying all night makes them Titans. I'm really sorry, guys, but like the story of Clash of the Titans is that Perseus goes on an epic years-long voyage to fight Hades.
This is actual epic, not 21st century epic. This is a really good burger.
Yes. This is like he's going on this long voyage to fight Hades, who has taken the world hostage via the medium of a giant kraken. Okay?
Hades.
You can't compare those two things.
Guys.
You can't compare them. And if you were to compare them...
No, because I had another round. We had an epic journey to the boxing club.
Oh, like the only way that you can compare these two is if you were comparing apples to a giant apple that will destroy the world if you don't give in to its demands of an equally terrifying, although somewhat smaller, man from Del Monte that rules the fruity afterlife. That is the only way that this is any way comparable. You're not comparing apples to oranges, you're comparing apples to that. Done. Oh, I've got more. I've got more.
Okay, right, go for it.
No, carry on with. I've ended the paragraph here.
Okay, so where are you up to? Have we even got into the lyrics, or are you still nagging on the entire thing?
I'm now. This is.
I mean, to be fair, most of the lyrics are ooh and eh.
Okay, so let me get to the lyrics. Okay, let me get to the lyrics. So, first off, like Labyrinth only gets one verse. Labyrinth gets one verse in this entire song, which is it's a waste of a pretty good artist. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Labyrinth originally. I'm not the biggest fan of Labyrinth, but like he is a good artist. He's an alright artist. But also, his name is Labyrinth. Did we not decide to make any Greek connections there either? Like, he was there on a silver platter for you.
Yeah, you could have just taken it, guys.
Exactly. Like, oh my god.
Possibly they never actually thought about what the word labyrinth meant. They just thought it sounded cool.
Probably. I mean, this track is copy and pasted so damn much. I mean,
this is what I thought. I listened to the song and I just thought, this is the epitome of laziness.
Yeah.
Like, there was no effort put in.
Yeah. And getting on to the lyrics, I counted how many original lyrics there were in this track. There are 19 original lines of lyrics in this, and that is if you include whoa, and yeah. So if you don't include them, there's only 12 lines of original lyrics. Oh my god!
Absolutely ridiculous.
It's so
How
bad.
long is this song?
The song is like nearly 4 minutes.
How much can you stretch out?
There's a bit that it goes ta 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 ta. You can't even finish the word Titan.
No, you know what it is though. No, it's even worse than that. It's because the lyrics here, it's got tie to tie to tie to tie to tie. But for the first time, I'm going to turn around. It's tie to tie to tie tie tie. After gonna turn around. It's 10 to 10 10 to 10 tens. They actually. I mean, I listened through it and I was like, am I sure that's
Oh.
what they're saying? Yeah. They say tie, 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 and then they let somebody else say something, and then they go tun 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 tun.
Oh my god, the song is so bad. Oh, and it gets worse when you extend your vision outside of the song. It gets even worse because all the reviews of this track that I can find are just the reviewer fellatiating Major Lazer for it. And there's just so many blatant lies said about this track that are just stated as fact. So, for example, WeRaveview.com, and this is not the only review that says this particular quote. A lot of them do. I'm using this one. Says this collab between Sia and Labyrinth is long awaited, and I can guarantee you that the only people who have been waiting for this collaboration are diehard Labyrinth fans and Labyrinth himself because he hasn't released anything relevant in a decade. And even after the recent shitstorm with Sia and her how-to guide on how to endanger your autistic friends, I bet even Labyrinth is wishing that this collaboration was with Ed Sheeran instead, who, by the way, also writes songs for Rihanna and then gets someone to do a cheap, bad impression of her, but at least he's got big enough balls to do it himself. So bad.
You know what? I was saying this to you before we started the stream. Like, I don't know why I thought it would benefit me at all to use Genius lyrics for the lyrics to this song.
I didn't.
I don't know what annotations I could possibly have expected.
I didn't see any annotations.
There was.
I didn't see anything. There weren't any. But there's five.
All it is objective information, like the date it was released and what album it was on.
Well, like
this is what it means.
There are 5,000 people that have looked this up on Genius, which means that there are 5,000 people who have gone, what? Like, that's got to be some sort of crazy metric. Oh, so let's also not forget that the credited artists on this track are Major Lazer, Sia, Labyrinth, and Diplo. Okay, and now I think it's easy to forget that Major Lazer is not one, not two, but three producers. So this is not one of those change a word, get a third scenarios when one executive changes a lyric and now it's credited as a writer. This is a set of artists being named on the track. Okay, that means that six people.
How many individual people then?
Six people. So that means that six people put their heads together and came up with this abomination, which I'm pretty sure a weed-smoking first-year music student who only picked up guitar last year because he thought it could get him laid could have written better. It's crazy. And furthermore, Labyrinth, Sia, and Major Lazer are already a group. They're already a band together. They're called LSD.
Christ.
So there was no
that's so clever.
need.
Cool.
Exactly. There's no need. Thanks for the analogy, Meatbag. Thank you. So there was no need to make yourself look dumb by having so many people be listed as recording artists. Unfortunately, there are so many egos in play here. Like, Sia is the most arrogant artist on earth. Major Lazer clearly wasn't happy with just getting a production credit, and Labyrinth is just too irrelevant not to go along with whatever Sia says. Like, I absolutely
Three bags.
Say that again.
I said yes, Sia, 3 bags full.
Yes. Like, I feel like Labyrinth is the kid at the dinner table when mum and dad have a fight. Labyrinth, could you please ask Major Lazer to pass the salt? Oh. Well, could you? So Major Lazer did his most relevant thing. So Major Lazer did Turn Down for What? Sia did most of the songs that you've heard in the last decade, including Chandelier. I'm from the chandelier, from the chandelier.
I'm swinging
Um,
from the chandelier. From the
Labyrinth's
chandelier. That one.
that one. Labyrinth's most iconic track
it?
has been was Earthquake, the one that goes "Wow, wow, wow, wow," and it's a banger of a tune, by the way. And Diplo is most famous for doing that remix of California Soul by Melina Shaw.
No, Diplo's like the big Lego for kids, isn't it? There's a big
Maybe Big Bag. It might be just that, like, it's because it was in the UK. You probably have it in passing. Like, to be fair, Labyrinth is based in the UK. Diplo is from Sweden. Sweden, I like Diplo. I think you've probably definitely heard in passing. Labyrinth, you may not have heard. Sia, I don't know how big Sia is in America. I think she's pretty big.
I mean, Sia's, yeah.
You've definitely heard some songs that she has written, but not necessarily her. And Major Lazer, if you just happen to not be listening to the radio for one particular set of 3 months in 2012, that's why you haven't heard of Major Lazer.
Well put.
Thanks. Oh, this is just such an abomination of a song.
Well, keep going. I'm loving this.
That's it. That's all I can come up with. By the time I finished, yes, I love that Diplo. By the time that I got to that part of my notes, it was time for us to start our pre-show call.
Okay.
So
Fair enough. Well, okay, right, okay. So I want to read Labyrinth's first two.
Yeah.
AAA. Strong start.
Yep.
Well, this is after we've got the post chorus tie. Gonna turn around. Ton, and then straight away AAA. Got.
And bear in mind that this is written to try and mimic a Jamaican accent. Like, I don't understand how you didn't write these lyrics down and be like, oh, we've made a mistake.
This is kind of a stupid fucking idea.
Like, to be fair, Major Lazer are part American and part Jamaican. But at this point, no, Sia's Australian. Like, oh, look, if you want to write a song for Rihanna, write a song for Rihanna and get Rihanna to sing it. Okay, if you can't get Rihanna to sing it, then maybe stop writing songs for Rihanna. Write a song that anybody can sing.
Well, or at least write a sort of find an artist who kind of sounds ish like Rihanna, who has the same type of voice.
Good to see you, Mick Bag. Thanks for dropping by.
Maybe find
man.
somebody who's actually got a Jamaican accent.
Yes.
And if you really got, how about that?
Yeah.
But
I hope you have a good day,
anyway,
Meatbag. Thank you so much.
See you later, man.
Cheers for the lulz. Anytime, mate. Anytime, mate.
Okay, so I'm gonna read the post-chorus again.
Do it.
Tie.
Just skip over the post-chorus. We're not gonna be able to get through this. I know what we do. Put a lot of A's in the song to complete the track. Yeah, just. Are we sure the cat didn't fall asleep on the keyboard here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Then got the record spinning till we did say.
Sorry, you'll have to say that again.
Pop another. Okay, so A got record spinning to Dizzy. A pop a bottle of the whoa. About to sit down. Whoa. Just give me one more round. Whoa. just noise after every fucking line. It's like we need this doesn't I've written this lyric, it doesn't have enough syllables in it. It's fine, dude.
the worst thing is, this song has only been out. This song has only been out for a week. This song has been out for a week. We have 6 months of hearing this song.
Is it charting?
I don't know.
I guess we'll find.
Well, I can have a look. I can definitely have a look.
It will, but it'll be charting. It'll chart.
So
we're here in the kitchen.
Titans chart position. Let's have a look.
Okay. Tide to tide. Night around. Turn to turn. Oh. Gonna turn around. Tie to tie. Oh. Tie. Ooh. These are consecutive lyrics. I'm just reading.
Okay, so
noise.
Okay, so okay, right, cool. This has not appeared on the global charts. It hasn't got a high position on global charts. It's not got an entry on the global charts. Thank God for that. On Apple Music, it's number 6 right now. It's in the top 10 in Apple Music. In Spotify, it's number 72, so it's in the top 100. Same on YouTube and iTunes, it's number 35. It's interesting how you can kind of tell the demographic of who listens through different streaming methods, of who ends up listening to what sorts of music, because people on Apple Music have listened to this song enough to make it the number 6 song on Spotify right now.
Yeah.
On iTunes, it's number 35, but on Spotify and YouTube, it's 72 and 82. Jason, thank you very much for stopping by. Thanks so much, man. Have a great stream.
Thanks,
stay safe. Keep it real.
Oh, you streaming? You stream?
Yes, he is.
Well, if you go do your thing. If you are, I'll catch you.
Sick. So
carry on.
Yeah, it's interesting to sort of use this as a way to see who uses what sort of, like, all the stuff that's linked to Apple and iTunes. It tends to they're listening to this. They like this music. People listening to Spotify and YouTube still like this music because it's been designed to be liked, but it's less so.
Well, I wonder how much of it is stuff being put into a playlist that people then just stick on in the absence of having Spotify and Apple Music.
So
if there are
also you've got so this song has charted in the following countries: Austria, Belgium, Canada, Finland, France, Germany, Israel, Netherlands, Portugal, Singapore, South Korea, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Taiwan, and Ukraine. So it hasn't charted in the UK, hasn't charted in the US. In Canada, it is hold on. Oh, Justin Bieber has 2 songs in the charts. Okay, it's so low down that it's not even showing up. So to be honest, yeah, they just searched the artist. But it's interesting. It's very interesting. So yeah, that's Titans.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, man. Given that the song's so long, given how far I have to scroll to get to the bottom of the lyrics, there's really not a lot to say about it.
No.
It is just shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's our opinion.
That is our opinion, and we're just lowly 2 dudes on the internet that say so.
Yeah, I mean, what do we know?
Yeah. Do you want to spin the wheel of conversation?
Yes, let us do that.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, when we start to reach the end of the show, there is a part called the Wheel of Conversation. Let me make sure I get it up. It looks a bit like... Oh, no! It looks a bit like this. And the idea of it is that it's a way for us to... What song a cat could have done better? Nice. And the idea of it is that we don't really get people asking questions of the show. So in lieu of that, I ask stupid questions throughout the week, and I add them to this wheel. Oh yeah, if you want to ask a question, go ahead. Absolutely go ahead, and I will add it to the wheel as well. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Spin the wheel of conversation. Where is it going to go? Land on. Spin the wheel of conversation. Behold the power of random. Oh, yes. Okay, so it's a variation of Shag, Marry, Kill.
Okay, right.
It's write, perform, judge harshly after too many tequilas. I'm going to generate 8 random bands. Let me get my bookmarks. 8 bookmarks. Come on. My computer's so slow now. So the categories are write, perform, judge harshly after too many tequilas. So you have to choose one of these 8 artists to write a song for you. One of these 8 artists are performing one of your songs, and one of these artists are judging you after having way too much to drink. And the other artists, I guess, are also there. Witness me. Okay, so the 8 artists are. Let's see if my computer will do this. Okay. So the artists are Billie Eilish.
Okay.
Garth Brooks. I'm going to write these down as well because I want to go back to the Eilish.
Garth Brooks.
This one. He's a cowboy type man. He's got an album called Scarecrow. Neutral Milk Hotel. The High Women.
High Women.
The High Women. Andrea Bocelli.
High Women.
The High Women, yeah. Andrea Bocelli. The Weeknd. Frank Sinatra. And Paul McCartney. Good set of artists it's chosen for this time. I know most of them.
I'm glad Neutral Cell came up.
Yeah, I'm glad of that as well. So one of these people, one of these guys. I'm going to close this tab because it's taking up a lot of bandwidth. So one of these artists, you are, he's going to write a song for you to perform. One of these artists is going to perform one of your songs, and one of these artists is going to judge way too harshly after having too many tequilas.
What, they're going to judge one of my songs?
They're going to judge you as an artist.
Me as an artist. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I feel like I would really want Jeff Magnum to write me a song.
Yeah.
So I think that's an easy one.
The Neutral Milk Hotel is going to write your song.
Neutral Milk Hotel
Okay.
writes me a song. I don't know. What about so you? What have you got?
So I'm thinking if I was to write Paul McCartney a song, he would screw me on the rights.
Yeah.
So I don't want to write a song for Paul McCartney. So I
thought it would be singing a song for you.
Yeah, someone's performing one of your songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So I'm starting from the perform part.
Okay.
I'm just gonna flip my.
Would you have to write a song for them, or could they one of your?
I guess
songs?
you could. They could perform one of your existing songs.
Yeah, I just wasn't the.
Oh, what have I done? I've done something very bad.
Done a bad.
I've done a bad murder.
I've done a bad murder.
Oh, I've screwed it all up again. Right.
Lawrence.
I tried to flip something round on the screen and it's making it go all funny. So I've got to flip it all back again. Because I am a moron.
Right. So I have Neutral Milk Hotel. I'm just going to talk in the meantime.
Yeah?
Neutral Milk Hotel writing a song for me. Is that if you guys don't know check them out. So good lyrics, beautiful lyrics. So yeah, I'd love to have them write a song for me. Now I don't know Highwaymen. I'm sure I know of Garth Brooks, but off my head, no. Who would I want to judge me as an artist after too many drinks?
I think that if Sinatra is in the room, he's going to judge you after too many drinks anyway.
I mean, being judged by Frank Sinatra. If he doesn't like me, then there's probably something wrong with my singing.
Okay.
So that's fine. But like somebody else, you know what? I will have Billie Eilish judge me because I don't give a shit what Billie Eilish thinks.
Okay.
I think that's the best answer I can get.
Okay. So who's writing you a song? Mutual Book Hotel's writing a song for you. Who's performing one of your songs?
One of my songs. Shit. I think. Get back to me on.
Okay. So I think that I would like Billie Eilish to write a song for me, because I think that I find her lyrics interesting. I find her writing style interesting. So, and I think that with her sort of offbeat, modernist, but also counterculture attempts at lyrics, I think that I could bring something cool to that. So I think that I would have Billie Eilish write a song for me. I think I would have. I think it'd be a great honor if at a gig, another band was to perform one of my songs as a cover. I think that if Paul McCartney did it, everyone would listen to only the Paul McCartney version. Whereas if Neutral Milk Hotel did it, people would look up the original artist. So I would have Neutral Milk Hotel perform one of my songs. Is that what you had as well? No, you didn't. You said right.
Milk Hotel is one of mine. I think I'd have performing Deep Blue.
Okay.
Just because that's just the song that's in my head right now. I can hear it. I can hear the Sinatra on the Deep Deep Blue with the swing cover of Deep Deep Blue with the horn section. Oh man,
make it happen, man.
You're gonna have to, like, it doesn't. None of this means anything unless you've actually heard it.
It's been a while since I've heard it. It's been a while since I've heard it. To be fair.
Yeah.
I'd probably have Andrea Bocelli judge me after too many tequilas, because I think that I wouldn't really worry about what he said, but he'd be coming at everything from an operatic and more classical point of view.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that Andrea Bocelli I think that if he was to judge me after too many tequilas, I think at the very least I'll be able to learn a hell of a lot from it. So that's mine. Nice. Everyone else is watching it. Okay, so do another one?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Spin the wheel of conversation. What is it going to land on? Spin the wheel of conversation. Behold the power of random.
Behold the power of random.
Okay. Question is, okay, this might mean that I need to explain this a little bit, but the question is, why can't everybody rap? When rap is just about talking in a particular rhythm, like why Like, why does rapping seem to be as hard as singing is for people to pick up?
I mean, does rapping occur in the same part of the brain as singing or speech?
Well, I know that speech and singing are
That's
two different part of the
that's
brains.
one of the.
Say again?
I wonder which speech and parts of the brain. I wonder whether the brain associates rap with singing or with speech, or a combination
Ooh,
of
yeah.
both. I think that's a really good. Is rapping good for your brain? What?
What?
What does it mean if you like rap? Oh, sod that. That seems unfounded. Um, Hang on. What part? This is so hard to Google. What part of the brain does rapping come from?
I would say, is rapping controlled by the speech center of the brain? Because it's a binary
Yeah,
answer,
yeah.
then, isn't it?
Okay. Is rapping controlled speech center brain? Yeah, that's a really interesting question.
Hmm.
Let's see. Neural overlap in processing music and speech. Nope. It doesn't say the new anatomy of freestyle rap. It doesn't say anything like straight off. The singing and speech. Yeah, it doesn't seem to say very much about the sort of thing between singing and speech. Because I think that rap
Hmm.
would be in the middle. I think though it would be more towards the
Because it's
singing side.
rhythmic.
Because yeah, well, when you're speaking, you're trying to achieve a different thing. Usually, like I guess most of the time, like sing. Like I go back to like primarily, what is it? It's basically a peacock flashing his feathers.
Yeah.
Look what I can do. Look what I can do with my voice. Attracting a mate. But speech achieves something different. Speech is about operation and conveying an idea. So I would imagine that because rapping is part of you showcasing yourself as a specimen, possibly, that it would fall into the maybe one or the other. It would fall into singing.
Okay.
I think so. As
Because
far as why some people can't rap, why it is a hard thing. Maybe the brain just doesn't know that there's a difference at all. But then I don't know.
I mean, it's a good hypothesis. I can't fault the hypothesis at all. So yeah, I'm happy with that answer. To be fair, I'd be
But
happy with that being the answer.
I'm not actually. Now that I've given
Okay. No, everything I've said, throw it out the window. Get rid of it.
it. Yeah, well, yeah, why not? But like maybe because you would think then that somebody who is good at singing is good at rap, but that's not the case, and vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, I can't rap, but I can sing all right. I can't rap.
And a lot of rappers,
Although I
but
can write
whether
rap.
is that because they haven't worked on the side of singing?
Well, but also I don't have the voice for rap. Like so there was that rap that we wrote in university, which actually by today's standards is not the worst rap in the world.
Mm.
Um, like if I was to give that rap over, if I was to spit some fire, um, like hey there, I'm Ezra, got a bit of cred than stuff. I have to go into South London voice. in order to do it.
Got a bit of
Got a better cred than
better cred.
Stifler. Don't take offense, because all I meant was I got a little thing that I want to say to ya. Show him the guy with the hair, talking to the camera there, talking about voices just because I want to be debonair, like that little joke, sometimes joke with that's spontaneous, taking it all again and 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 again, talking to my main man Lawrence. Hello. So, like, it doesn't really, like, my voice doesn't suit rapping, but I can write.
I can
rap.
only rap in an American accent.
Okay. Sorry, say that again.
If I in an American accent, I can rap faster in an American accent than I can in my own voice. It's not good.
Rapping has more BPM than singing, so it takes more brain power. Well, so I guess the argument they were making before is that it takes different brain power, isn't it? Because I guess although you do, Joel has a point actually. You do tend to try and fit more. Like, you can't hold notes in rap. You can't just be like, can you imagine if Eminem was like, if Eminem was like, my name is.
Yeah, I mean, you can extend it a little bit though, because like it's my name is as opposed to my name is.
But it still has to be like speech. It still follows the same rules of speech. You can't extend a rap lyric for a longer period of time than you can extend a spoken lyric.
No, not really. No.
But you can do it with musical lyrics. So maybe it does come from the same center of the brain as speech.
Then, like, where's the line? Like, at what point?
Well,
at what point does your brain go from we're singing now to we're speaking now?
Well, this is a really interesting point. I think
is
I
there
brought
a
it
sort
up.
of a bridge?
There is. So this is I can't remember. I thought I told you. I talked to you about this. But if you, but it has got that impact if you extend it. Okay. I thought I talked to you about this. This at some point, Theo, where
Maybe.
If you try to whisper sing, yeah, and you use a proper whisper, if you go from whispering to singing, there will be a point where your brain switches over. If you go from talking to singing, it does the same thing, but it's just a bigger runway essentially. If you go from whispering to singing,
but how does rap?
How does rap compare?
No, how does rap fit in between?
Well, I don't think that rap is in between either of them. I think that rap is exclusively a spoken vocal quality. The difference between rap and speech is the rhythm is more rigid.
But then, see, yeah, I don't, because me that would suggest that because there's a rigid rhythm in there, that it would fall in under music as far as the brain's concerned. But like, no man,
drummers aren't musicians, man. Shut up.
Oh, bruh.
I said it.
Bruh.
I said it.
And what about people who use drum instead of actually drumming?
Even less of a musician. They're barely human. Oh, for those of you who don't know and haven't watched my streams,
I'll never shit on
me.
You unless I've also shat on myself.
Yeah, that's the rule. That's the rule. I'm the one in the dunce cap in the picture, and there's a reason for that. Oh man. I don't think we can answer this question, so maybe I'll keep it on the board, and then if we come to it again later, maybe we'll have more information. Okay, should we do one more before we pack up? Spin that shit, DJ. Spin the wheel of conversation. Where is it going to land on? Spin the wheel of conversation. Behold the power of random. Ooh, This is an interesting one. Okay, we're getting totally opinionated here. There is not a correct answer for this one. What is the worst piece of album art? What is the worst album art?
Oh shit. You know what?
And I'm gonna say specifically art rather than album packaging, because if we're going for packaging, then the answer is absolutely Anthrax's self-titled first album, because it was just a brown bag with Anthrax written on it. So,
That's pretty.
It's pretty terrible, isn't it?
That's pretty. Oh man. Oh man, I've gone and Googled worst album art.
Uh-oh.
There's so many. Okay.
So I guess there's a few questions you also have to ask off the back of this here. So album art like the Beatles' White Album, is that good album art? Is it genius album art? Classic? What do you mean by classic, Joel? Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more, Joel. Does it have to be a classic album, or does it have to be a modern album? If that's what you're asking, any era whatsoever.
White Album.
Oh, brown paper bag.
I think that's pretty nice. I think
the White Album.
Oh, a brown paper bag is pretty nice.
Yeah, it's pretty classic.
Yeah, like I don't have a problem.
You don't have a problem with the White Album, okay?
No. Yeah, like it is what it, you know, it's what it says it is. It would be like if somebody released an album called A Collection of Songs, I'd be like, okay, well, you're not wrong. And no, I don't know another album that has that name, so it works. Right?
So Jay-Z released an album called the Black Album, and it was not just a black cover. It was various shades of black and grey in him in shadow. Does that subvert the idea of the White Album?
No, I think it's a take.
Okay.
And I think you can say that there's probably some sort of racial message behind there.
Did you know there's a Grey Album?
Oh yeah.
It's Jay-Z's Black Album. The lyrics, and it's basically Jay-Z's Black Album remixed with Beatles' White Album.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't like the Beatles, but they're pretty good. For me, I think there's certain album art that What have you found?
Hang on. Look up the album cover for Delca. DEL, new word.
Okay.
The album's called He Touched Me.
Oh, do I want to put this on the screen?
It's not. It's fine. You can go on the screen.
Can we show this?
But it's just.
Okay.
Yes.
That's so good. It's just her face. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, that's hilarious. I think,
So,
I think that, it's pretty, gosh, awful.
so there's also one by an artist called Swamp Dog, Double G.
D-O-double-G. Isn't that copyright infringement?
I don't know. This seems pre-Snoop Dogg, to be honest with you.
Does it seem pre-Swamp?
I don't know, but is the album called "If I Ever Kiss It, He Can Kiss It Goodbye," and it's a dude.
It's a terrible name.
It's a dude
Oh.
with rose-tinted sunglasses and very receding cornrows.
Yep.
On a backdrop of mouths, some of them with tongues out.
Oh God.
And that's it.
Oh, okay. I think I know what. Yeah, I think I know what the worst piece of album art is. I need to go to my YouTube. It is absolutely going to be the album by the artist that tried to copyright strike me. Calling you out. Calling you out. Not you. Oh, I can't find it. Oh, it's making my computer run slow, so I can't do it. But the song, the album was called. I'm going to put us back to the main screen. The album was called. Oh, the song was called "The Logical Song." Yeah, Joel. The very first YouTube video I uploaded, I got a copyright strike on, because somebody believed that a piece of music that I was currently in the process of writing on the video was infringing on their song that they had copyrighted. If you upload videos to YouTube and that happens, often it's especially if you're a new YouTuber. Often that is just them trying to flex and get you to give in some potential money later on down the line. Just fight it. Just fight it all the way, man. Have you found it?
No. All I can find was a song by Supertramp, and I'm guessing it's not Supertramp.
No. Is it? Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Dude.
So it's. Okay, so the original was done by an artist called Skuse. But it's a. Is it the Tone Shifters remix? What you found?
I found. Oh, there's an album. There's an album. Where is it? There's an album called Gun Ga Gazid. I can't even read it. Hang on. Let me. Where are you? Chet and Dave. I'm gonna look for Chet and Dave.
Well,
there's this album cover here. It's absolutely awful. It's two guys looking into a camera.
You say Chaz and Dave?
One of them. No, Chet.
Okay.
It's two guys looking into a camera. One of them's missing a tooth. Like one round guy and one guy who looks like Justin Timberlake with a big head and an 80s comb over. And they're both cross-eyed.
There's a Watsky has a really bad album cover that's deliberately bad. It's ironically bad, but it's it's the second album that he released, and it's just him. Oh no, sorry, third album he released, and it's him in black and white with like a long hair in a very 70s style, and it looks very bad. I don't think we'll end up coming to the bottom of the worst album art. My least favorite album art actually is probably Death Grips. Because it's just gross to look at. Let me bring it up. Death Grips is a experimental hip hop band, but there's an album cover that's it's like a load of teeth and mouths in skin, and it's difficult to look at. I think it's the Powers That Be. Huh? Oh no, it's not Powers That Be. No, it's two words. Is it Year of the Snitch? Yes. Yeah, it's Year of the Snitch. Let me. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on the screen for everyone at home. It's
Comfortable.
yeah, and it's just putting their like mouths and tongues through a hole in some plastic. Like it's not offensive, but it's just weird to look at. I don't like it.
A term for who get really
Meg
uncomfortable
has this.
looking at things with
Yeah,
holes
Meg
in them.
has this bad.
So like sponges.
She can't look at sunflowers.
Yeah.
Can't look at sunflowers. She can't look at the XCOM 2 art for the game. Can't look at that because it's an alien's face made up of lots of little alien faces. She can't look at any sort of medical thing where it's any sort of necrotic disease. Understandable. Well, it's 2:30. This is a quicker episode than we normally have because we didn't go for a break because I thought we'd ride the wave of having like several people in chat that we didn't normally have, and I think that was probably the right decision.
I think so.
So, Theo, would you like to promote yourself, to plug yourself in the closing moments of this show?
I would love to. So my name's Theo Dehaney. You can find me on Instagram at Theo Dehaney and on YouTube, Theo Right. Otherwise, you'll be looking around forever. I am currently working on a full production of a song I wrote a little while ago. You'll see the acoustic version up very, very shortly. And then it will be, I'm thinking, maybe a 3 or 4 part series on making it into a full track. So do that.
Awesome. And I've been Lawrence Hobbs. You can, if you want to talk to me about anything we discussed in the show today, please hit me up on my Instagram. It's just above my head there. Theo's is above his head. And if you want to listen to some of my music, I have an EP on Spotify or wherever you listen to your music. It's called Leave Me for Worms, Don't Leave Me for Dead. You will know you're in the right place if you see a lovely foxy lady with a foxy head. You'll see what I mean when you get there. If you are watching on YouTube, hello YouTube. You could have watched us live, like the awesome people like Jason Janik, DS Composing, Meatbag Collector, and Mr. Jolly 123 all did. All of those guys saw us live,
and
they had
guys
some
are winners,
absolute winners in our book. And if you would like to be one of those people, feel free to join us next Thursday at between 12 and 3 on this here channel. However, if you also are into watching music creation happen, I also have a show that is supposedly going on during the week, but I started plugging it, but I realised I've got to wind it down because I'm going back to work. So subscribe to my Twitch channel for some
whatever
live
happens
music.
will happen when it happens.
Some live music making. Twitch.tv/oddhobs if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching live, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube because then you get all the old videos and you can look at some of the old music creation videos. I've just uploaded a video actually on finishing songs, which is pretty good. I didn't go into it. I didn't plan it as well as Andrew Huang did on his. You know what we're going to have to talk about next week? We're probably going to have to talk about Huang next week because we haven't talked about it for a few weeks. Let's not talk about it now, though. So thank you very much for joining. Have a great afternoon. Have a great evening. Have a great week. And without further ado, go.